This video is brought to you by the Minnetonka Coalition for Equitable Education, or the M.C.E.E. Today's discussion, we will be defining and discussing equity and how equitable principles can be incorporated into education. Let's begin with the most obvious question. What is equity? Equity is defined as justice, free from favoritism and bias. An equitable education requires intentional implementation of systematic policies to address the needs of every student so they can reach their full academic potential. The most important part of equity is that it transcends all identities and backgrounds. Equity is often confused with equality, but these terms are not the same. Equality means every student is treated the same, while equity is about making sure every student has the tools necessary to be successful. Equality is generic, group-focused, and fixed, while equity is specific, individual-focused, and adaptable.
Here's an example. A superintendent may decide every student within the school district should be given an iPad to help with their homework. This policy demonstrates equality because everybody receives the same technological support, an iPad. The assistance of an iPad for homework would be helpful, unless you're a student without Wi-Fi. Because of extracurricular activities, jobs, sports, many students are busy during the day when locations equipped with Wi-Fi are open. If you're a student without Wi-Fi at home, it can be very challenging to find an easily accessible location with free Wi-Fi after normal business hours. In this scenario, all students were treated the same, but they didn't receive the same support. The policy was a practice of equality, but not equity. Now, is it okay for policies to be equitable but not equal? Well, let's talk about that. We all know about different learning disabilities. For example, dyslexia, which can affect a student's ability to read and interpret text. This can result in the student working slower and taking longer to process assignments. When taking a test, a student with dyslexia may take longer to complete or even finish as compared to other students. Now, does it seem fair to you to make a student with dyslexia take a test in the same amount of time as students without a learning disability when it can take them longer to finish the same assignments? Well, no, that doesn't really seem fair. Thus, teachers may allow a student with dyslexia an extra hour of testing time to match their reading pace. The policy doesn't demonstrate equality because not every student received the same amount of test-taking time. But the policy demonstrates equity because each student received the support they needed to succeed.
Why is equity important when talking about race? Let's go back to that definition of equity. Justice free from favoritism and bias. The pitfall of school districts often is their negligence to incorporate multicultural curriculum in their classes. Basically, we only learn about white people. History class, all about white people. English class, yep, another white author writing from the white perspective. Black, Indigenous, students of colors don't get to learn about their racial, ethnic, cultural contributions. Furthermore, BIPOC students are misinformed about historical figures. Textbooks often erase white historical and contemporary figures' problematic racist behavior. Psychologically, students unconsciously develop a bias that favors whiteness because they are associating importance, success, and achievement with the whiteness presented to them. Different identities, such as blackness, are left on the side of the road, hitchhiking on different stereotyped media portrayals to remain alive in public consciousness. To start making equitable change in a district, Dr. Kevin Kumashiro, accomplished educator and anti-oppressive advocate, recommends starting with a community's values. Those values then drive systematic change in the educational delivery system. Well, we've learned a lot this video, and now you may be asking yourself, how can equitable principles be applied to Minnetonka? Future videos will tackle different educational issues and apply them to Minnetonka public school policies. The videos will focus on the systematic changes and practical improvements necessary to improve student experiences in the district. Thanks for watching.